Hello everyone. This story is about, what if Naruto and Hinata started living together after she was kicked out of the Hyuga clan? Please like, share and subscribe. Now let's start. Iruka buried his head in his hands and took a deep, calming, I'm obviously stalling for time breath. Naruto was always welcomed in Iruka's home, but a part of the teacher had always known Naruto's visits would likely be unique. Naruto, please slow down and start from the top, Iruka said patiently. Naruto chuckled nervously. Well, Iruka-sensei, I kinda have to marry Hinata-chan soon. I gathered from your panicked shouts from when you practically ran through my door, Iruka said with a smile. What happened to make marrying Hinata necessary? The young man laughed again and the forced nature of the laugh was apparent to the universe. It started early yesterday, Gai-sensei worked us really hard. That was actually really awesome. I can't wait to see how strong this training makes us. Hinata-chan, Lee, and I will be super badasses. Iruka knew Naruto's rambling and excited focus on his training would take center stage until Naruto got it out of his system. Naruto wouldn't be able to calmly explain his situation until he wore himself out. Iruka let the boy continue babbling about how much Gai-sensei's training was going to help him and Hinata become strong. Naruto's rambling had a negative effect on Iruka, however. The teacher would constantly find his thoughts wandering back to his own marriage plans and hopes. And how did that cause your current predicament? Well, I mighta sorta slept with Hinata, Naruto admitted sheepishly. The pieces quickly fell in place and Iruka smiled in a soothing combination of relief and amusement. You won't be marrying Hinata yet. Naruto, you're thinking of a different kind of sleeping together. I don't get it, Naruto grumbled. Iruka chuckled. Don't worry, I'll explain it when you are ready. But, Iruka-sensei, I'm already a shinobi, Naruto pointed out. This is something completely different, Iruka said with a smile. Trust me, I'll be explaining everything before you know it. Then why can't before I know it be now? Naruto asked in an annoyed and confused tone. Iruka sighed. He needed more time to prepare. It wasn't for lack of confidence in his ability to explain it to Naruto. Iruka knew he was a good teacher. But this was Naruto. Iruka had really come to view the rather obnoxious child as a little brother or at times, a son. Naruto is a soldier now, and will eventually have to kill. How can I legitimately say the process of making life should be kept from him when I taught him the process of taking life? Well, I have a few things to take care of today. I'll be by later. It's been a while since the two of us just hung out, Iruka caught himself from adding like brothers or father and son to the end of his statement. Naruto's face lit up. Really? Where would we go? I mean, we usually go to Ichiraku, but you're always there nowadays. Iruka laughed and traced his scar with his thumb. We'll think of something. Hinata was humming happily as she looked for supplies for her flower pressing. She found a few things she needed and headed for the exit. On a whim, she passed through the painting section. Hinata felt a smile work its way to her lips as she recognized Yakumo. Good afternoon, Yakumo-sama, Hinata said after getting Yakumo's attention. Hinata's tone, inflection, and even the timing of her words was perfect. Good afternoon, Hinata-san, Yakumo replied with an equally formal smile. You don't have to address me so formally. You are the heiress of one of Konoha's oldest clans, and we have only met a few times, Hinata replied in a friendly tone. Well, shall we consider this enough times to become friends? Yakumo asked. Hinata continued to smile warmly. Of course. I have a question, Yakumo-san. Ask away, Hinata-san, Yakumo replied and was pleased by the decrease in formality. Is Rokuro-san still laughing at Naruto-kun's paint trap? Yakumo covered her mouth as she laughed daintily. His amusement is now annoyance. I have reminded him that he nearly fell into a newly graduated genin's trap. I haven't had this much fun with our little game of tease and counter tease in a long time. I'm sure there's a story for that, Hinata prodded. Yakumo nodded. A very interesting one, actually. Hinata picked up the items she needed, as did Yakumo. The two young women chatted aimlessly as they paid for their items. So, why is Rokuro-san a favorite teasing target? Hinata asked. I prefer to think of it as retaliation, Yakumo said warmly. It began when Rokuro-san joked about my paintings. It was good-natured, of course, but I have always been very proud of my art. I take advantage of every opportunity to get back at Rokuro-san, and he takes every opportunity to get back at me. So, it's almost like a game? Hinata asked. Yakumo smiled. That's an excellent way to put it, Hinata-san. Hinata giggled as a bit of realization hit her. I thought we were trying to stop being so formal, Yakumo-chan. You're right. I guess I don't have much of a chance to be normal, Yakumo said as her cheeks flushed. Yakumo caught the unintentional double meaning, but she was confident Hinata wouldn't notice. I remember when I was like that. Naruto stared up at the building and felt a twinge of nervousness in his gut. He had never been to this part of Konoha before. In fact, the few times Iruka-sensei and Mizuki-sensei had brought Naruto's academy class here Naruto had skipped. I'm a full-fledged ninja now. I am a Fuinjutsu specialist. I can do this, Naruto said to psyche himself up. He walked up the stairs and entered the enormous building. It was busier inside than Naruto had expected. I have no idea where to start, Naruto grumbled to himself. He saw a large desk and approached the older man sitting behind it. Excuse me, sir. Yes? Welcome to the Konoha Library and Archives. Do you need help locating something, young man? Naruto blinked at the old librarian. He hadn't expected anyone to be so polite to him outside of his narrow social circle. It was a very nice surprise. Yes sir, I am looking for the Fuinjutsu section, Naruto admitted. Your ninja ID number? 012607, Naruto repeated from memory. Hinata had helped him study and improve his memorization while they had been at the academy. The librarian thumbed through a large book for a moment. Very well, Genin Uzumaki. You have access to the public sections of the library and the Level 1 Shinobi archives. Please, follow me. The librarian rose from his seat and motioned for Naruto to follow him. The Genin followed behind his older guide and couldn't believe how many books and scrolls the library possessed. The librarian paused in front of a pair of large doors. This is the Fuinjutsu archive. If you need help in the public area, please come find me. If you can't locate me, ask for Osamu. I will come find you. If you need help in the restricted area, Manabu-san will be able to assist you, Osamu explained. I appreciate it, but why won't you help with the restricted area? Naruto asked. Manabu-san is both the guard and the archivist for the restricted area. He will be able to answer your questions and ensure security of the area. Fuinjutsu is a very powerful art. It is why the Uzumaki clan was so feared, the librarian explained. Naruto's eyes lit up. I have a clan? Where could I find books and scrolls about them? Information on the Uzumaki clan and its connections to Konoha can be found in the historical references area, Osamu explained. Naruto fought the urge to raise an eyebrow. Osamu spoke incredibly stilted. Thank you. I should probably get started, Naruto said with a smile. The librarian nodded once and headed back to his desk. Naruto took a deep breath. He pushed open the doors and was a bit disappointed. The public area of the Fuinjutsu section was little more than a hallway. At the end of the hall, a man Naruto assumed to be Manabu was standing in front of a second set of doors. Naruto spent a few minutes going through the public books. He saw a few details that really stood out and copied them into a notebook he had bought from the store near Iruka-sensei's house. The books Naruto used didn't really expand on his actual knowledge of Fuinjutsu. Old Man Hokage's book had taught him the basics. Naruto was amused by the calligraphy pointers. He made a mental note to ask Hinata if she had any pointers. Eventually, Naruto got bored of the public books and approached the man at the desk. Excuse me, Manabu-san? Manabu looked up and managed to hide his start. Yes? How may I help you? I would like to access the level 1 area, please, Naruto said as he pretended not to notice the man's start. Of course. I have to say, I'm impressed someone so young is taking up Fuinjutsu. It's a really rare art, Manabu said congenially. Naruto's concerns about the man's early jolt began to melt away. He's probably bored. I bet I'm the only person who has asked for access in a while. Thanks Hokage-sama says I have a real knack for it. There is so much awesome stuff you can do with seals, Naruto excitedly explained. Manabu chuckled. It's nice to see enthusiasm in this place. Some people treat it like a mausoleum. What's that? Naruto's face scrunched up as he tried to think of what that word meant. Mausoleum is another word for grave, Manabu explained. Naruto quickly decided that he wouldn't use that word for a while. Oh right. So, if I want to check out something in the level 1 archives, how does that work? Naruto asked to change the subject. Everyone in the library had been kinda weird. No wonder I never came here. The level 1 archive is a restricted archive. Civilians cannot access it, but there aren't any restrictions for anybody of genin rank or higher on checking anything out. Most of the scrolls and books cover more advanced seals, but they aren't really dangerous in any way. Thanks, Manabu-san. Naruto said as the Chunin opened the door to the level 1 archives. The genin dashed into the room and picked the first book he came across. The 5-seal barrier technique. That sounds awesome. Naruto quickly grabbed the scroll and dashed back to Manabu. So, do I check this out here? I'll sign it out here and then you can sign it out officially at the front desk, Manabu explained. Naruto thanked the Chunin as soon as the final pen stroke was completed. The young man bolted to the front desk. He completed the checkout process and was relieved to step outside. I really want to learn about the Uzumaki clan, but that place creeped me out. It might be worse than being in the hospital if you ignore the injuries. Hinata and Yakumo were happily chatting about completely inconsequential things. The two girls welcomed the change from the stresses of being a shinobi and being an heiress, respectively. Hinata had decided to stop by the academy and visit with Sakura and Ino. I think it would be nice for Yakumo-chan to be introduced to more people our age. I remember how the isolation was almost as bad as father's disappointment in breaking me down, Hinata thought to herself. Somehow, the admission was liberating and she found herself allowing herself to smile just a little bit more. Oh my gosh! Ino shouted happily as she grabbed Sakura's arm. Hinata-chan. You came to visit. Hello, Ino-chan, Sakura-chan. Hinata greeted her friends. May I introduce you to Kurama Yakumo? Pleased to meet you, Yakumo said politely. Sakura smiled warmly. It is always nice to meet a friend of Hinata-chan's. So, what brings you two to the academy? Ino asked with a grin. Gai-sensei gave my team the day off, Hinata began. I ran into Yakumo-chan at the store and thought it would be nice to see all of my girlfriends. That's nice, Sakura agreed. I'm kinda surprised to see you without Naruto, though. Hinata took a moment to think about Sakura's comment. Their roommates and best friends were practically inseparable. It actually was fairly unusual for them not to be together. We both had our own errands to run. I had to pick some items up from the store and Naruto-kun wanted to research Fuinjutsu. Naruto's picking up Fuinjutsu? That's a rare skill, Ino pointed out. He is very talented in it, Hinata revealed. Anyway, how are you two doing in the academy? Sakura shrugged. We're doing well. Sasuke-kun isn't in our class anymore. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that if it wasn't for some advice Naruto gave us, Ino Pig and I wouldn't have a real goal. Forehead's right, Ino admitted. Yakumo was shocked at the nicknames that seemed simultaneously demeaning and endearing. Sasuke had been our focus for so long, we had no idea what to do. Lucidly, Sakura remembered Naruto's advice about racing to Chunin. I remembered it after trying to talk with Sasuke-kun after he returned to the academy. I couldn't believe that he didn't pass. He was so angry and wouldn't talk to anyone except for this older Hyuga. Hinata's flinch did not go unnoticed by the other girls. The older Hyuga is my cousin Niji. He was always very harsh with me and had a fatalistic outlook on the world. I'm afraid he'll introduce some of his worldview to Sasuke. Yakumo put a hand on Hinata's shoulder. Are you alright, Hinata-chan? I have always been a bit afraid of Niji and I-san. The thought of a person becoming like him is very unnerving. Hinata hugged herself. Ino and Sakura exchanged glances. If the person Sasuke was associating with made Hinata this scared, Ino and Sakura truly began to reconsider their position on Sasuke. I'm sorry, Sakura said quickly. She instantly brightened. It was only partially an act to cheer up her friend. What's being a ninja like? Hinata was grateful for the change of subject. Tiring, she answered truthfully. Our sensei, Might Guy, has been working us very hard individually. Guy sensei gave us all the day off to recover. The conversation turned to basic, lighter fare. The two academy students asked about Iruka sensei. Hinata explained the popular teacher's situation. The former Hyuga's explanation trailed off as she noticed a twitch form above Ino's right eye. So, Iruka sensei is in a committed relationship with I am from Ichiraku? And Naruto was afraid to tell me because of a fear over Iam's ladle? Yes, but Naruto-kun refers to it as the ladle. He is quite terrified of it, Hinata revealed with a giggle. Lunch break is over. Everyone returned to class, Mizuki shouted. Sakura and Ino groaned a bit. It was great seeing you again, Hinata-chan, Sakura said with a truly happy smile. It was also nice to meet you, Yakumo-san. We'll all have to get together sometime. Ino added before she joined Sakura in heading back to the academy. Yakumo and Hinata stayed in place for a few moments. You certainly have an interesting group of friends, Yakumo said with smile. Hinata nodded in agreement. Yes, I'm glad to have so many. I'm also glad to include you among them. Thank you, Yakumo responded. She truly enjoyed the few moments she had spent with Hinata. The slightly younger girl made everything quiet. Naruto was sitting at the kitchen table when Hinata came back. He smiled broadly at his best friend. Welcome home, Hinata-chan. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Hinata answered. How was your day? It went really well. I visited Iruka sensei on my way to study seals. I found a new type I want to work on. How was your day? My day was lovely. I ran into Yakumo-chan, Ino-chan, and Sakura-chan. I wish we had more time to catch up, but they had to return to class, Hinata explained. Naruto nodded. He was kind of jealous of how many friends Hinata had. Naruto only really had Hinata as a true friend. The young man was confident that Lee would end up as a great friend, but the two boys hadn't known each other very long. He quickly shook off those thoughts and continued to grin warmly at his closest friend. As hard as Guy sensei works us, I'd still rather do his workouts than sit in the academy. No offense to Iruka sensei. Naruto quickly added. I wonder when we will start missions? Hinata pondered. Let's ask him tomorrow. Naruto declared. Hinata giggled at Naruto's boundless enthusiasm. They decided to eat a quick meal and talked aimlessly about whatever came to mind. As night approached, they made sure to say their goodbyes and head to their usual sleeping arrangements. Hinata got in the bed and Naruto got into his bedroll. He really did miss his bed, though. The next morning, Guy sensei had praised his team for arriving on time. He immediately set them to warming up. As the somewhat eccentric Jonin headed off to prepare the day's lesson, Hinata decided to speak to Lee about Yakumo. Lee-kun, I forgot to mention something when our team first met. Lee paused for a fraction of a second while stretching. Yes, Hinata-san? A friend of mine, Karama Yakumo, heard of your story and it has given her and her clan hope that she can become a shinobi as well. I haven't found out what her situation is, but she was thrilled to hear that you became a shinobi, Hinata explained. Yash. I was unaware that my situation was an encouragement to others. I will have to work even harder now. Lee exclaimed. Naruto shook his head. He really enjoyed Lee's enthusiasm. I'd love to spar with Lee. I'd probably get rolled over, but it would a great chance to test myself. Alright, my students. Continue to stretch for a few more minutes and we will get started. Guy announced. Team 9 continued to stretch until Might Guy called them into the main area of the dojo. Team 9 stood at attention as Guy paced in front of them. my students. I have come up with our new schedule. We will work for 3 hours each morning on team-based exercises and general training. The next phase of our day will either be a D-rank mission or several hours of specialized training. Gai-sensei, Naruto said as he raised his hand to be acknowledged. The Jonin nodded and gave Naruto permission to ask his question. What is today going to be? Today, we will complete a D-rank mission. Might Gai announced. Hinata and Naruto were visibly excited about the opportunity to receive a bit of income. They weren't in any financial trouble, but it would be nice to have a bit of leeway with their expenses. Lee raised his hand and stretched for the heavens. Gai-sensei. What kind of workout will we be doing today? Today, we will continue with the exercises we began at our last training session. Gai explained exuberantly. Team 9 trained on various exercises for a while. Hinata sparred against Lee while Gai-sensei trained with Naruto. Gai-sensei wanted to see how Hinata incorporated the principles of circle walking into her taijutsu. He also wanted to see how Lee would handle himself against a highly mobile opponent. The goal for Naruto's taijutsu was to refine it and stress to the young man that his success in hand-to-hand combat relied on maintaining the initiative. Excellent work, everyone. Gai called out. As the genin cell gathered around him, he continued with his lesson. Now, we will work on how this team will work together in the field. All of you are skilled with taijutsu. Lee and Hinata are naturals at the art. Naruto's strengths are geared towards supporting the team with ninjutsu, fuinjutsu, or in taijutsu. I want us to work on how Team 9 will support each other. Naruto, Lee, and Hinata nodded as Gai led them to a nearby training ground. Immediately, Naruto turned to his teammates. Should we stick to the plan we worked out in the genin test? It was a sound plan. I think it will serve us well, Lee agreed. Naruto nodded. Just to be safe, Hinata-chan, can you check the training ground with your Byakugan? Byakugan, Hinata whispered after finishing her hand seals. It is a lightly wooded area. There is almost no cover outside a few areas of trees. If I'm right, it looks like this area was purposefully arranged. Probably not tight enough to use the exact plan from our test, Naruto mused. Alright, I think I have a new plan. Might Gai smiled as he listened to his team work together. They are truly geniuses of hard work. To think, most of Konoha cruelly wrote them off as hopeless failures. I will make sure that their doubters never forget how wrong they were. Team 9, I will make you splendid shinobi. Iruka made his way to the front door as he heard the knock. He had been preparing how to give the talk to Naruto. Thus, he wasn't really expecting any visitors. It could be about a mission, Iruka thought as he opened the door. He barely contained his surprise when it wasn't a fellow shinobi summoning him to a meeting with the Hokage. Instead, it was his future father-in-law. Tucci, how are you? Iruka asked with a grin. Tucci returned the teacher's smile. Doing fine, doing fine. May I come in? Of course. You are always welcome in my home, Iruka said earnestly. His earnestness fell a bit as he realized one of the reasons Tucci was visiting. He was checking to see where Ayam would likely be living sooner rather than later. Thank you, Iruka, Tucci said earnestly. Can I get you anything? The ramen shop owner shook his head as he entered the living room. No thank you. Tucci caught sight of Iruka's collection of books and quirked an eyebrow. Iruka caught Tucci's gaze and chuckled sheepishly. Naruto, needs the talk, Iruka admitted. How did that happen? Tucci laughed. Iruka shook his head and joined in the laughter. Hinata and Naruto fell asleep in the same bed after their Jonin-sensei, Might Gai, worked them into the ground. So, that's what Hinata wanted to talk with Ayam about, Tucci said as he took a seat. I'd wager it was. Naruto didn't mention Hinata meeting with Ayam-chan, Iruka agreed. I know Naruto thought he had to marry Hinata. Ayam was practically in tears after Hinata had the same thought, Tucci laughed. Ayam has been talking about marriage all morning. It wasn't exactly a subtle way to begin the conversation, but Iruka had been expecting Tucci to mention the relationship between Ayam and himself eventually. I've been thinking about the subject myself, Iruka admitted. Please, have a seat. I think this conversation is going to take a while. Tucci took a seat across from Irika. I hope it will be quick. I just want to hear your intentions for my daughter. She's all I have left. Her happiness is everything that drives me. Her happiness drives me as well. I did provide the entire payment from my C-rank mission for Ayam-chan to pay for her tuition to Marasai. Tucci actually smiled. She tried to hide that. I asked her about why she came home in such a great mood a while back. Ayam wouldn't answer my question and glided to her room. I also told her that I love her, Irika confessed. You're a good man, Irika, and you are making my daughter very happy in many ways. I just have a single question, Tucci said as he crossed his arms. Ask away, Irika said calmly. When are you going to propose? The ramen chef asked bluntly. Even prepared, Irika was mostly caught off guard. It took him a moment to compose himself. I have been giving it a lot of thought. Ayam will probably apply to Marasai soon. But the Biju in the room is, well, I still have to complete my B and A ranked missions. I'm almost guaranteed to run into hostile shinobi, rogue summons, or armies. There are no certainties on missions like that. Tucci fell silent for several moments. Thank you, Irika. I will pray for your safety. Irika couldn't find his voice and simply nodded. He politely made conversation with Tucci as the other man decided to leave. The conversation had been very short, but it had driven home reality for Irika in a way all of his training had failed to do. He had to survive these upcoming missions. There were too many people who needed and loved him. He would succeed. Irika had no other choice. Naruto was a bit torn on the realities of D-rank missions. The mission had not been anything like his image of kick-ass ninja missions. Naruto had been thrilled to actually get his first mission, and when Gai-sensei had led them to the Hokage's office, Naruto had actually paid close attention. He had only spent a minute or two figuring out how he would set up the office when he became Kokage with Hinata-chan. It had been a bit of a downer to hear that Team 9 would be making deliveries for the post office instead of rescuing hostages, escorting dignitaries, or something exciting. The young man thought that the D rank was something civilians or academy students should be doing. A minute of thought had allowed Naruto to see a few positives of the mission, however. First, it was a break from Gai-sensei's training. Naruto had always had a bit more stamina than most of his friends, but even his endurance was tested by Gai's training. The second fact that made him appreciate this D rank was that he wasn't the only one getting paid. Hinata-chan was also getting a paycheck on this mission. This single mission would take care of their rent for a few months. Hinata and Naruto had always been frugal and had simple tastes. They had no doubt that their payment could be stretched for a while. Lee. How are we doing on packages? Naruto asked. The green-clad ninja turned and beamed at his friend. I only have 3 packages left. Hinata-san has 2 left. Do you have any left? I've got 2, Naruto replied. I wonder what we're carrying. We shouldn't worry about it, Hinata said as she returned from dropping off a number of letters. On higher ranked missions, we could be carrying secret documents or intelligence. It would be our duty not to look. Man, Hinata-chan, you're amazing, Naruto said with complete admiration. Hinata is correct. Gai said as he suddenly materialized in the midst of his genin team. This is excellent training. Curiosity and a desire to learn are natural parts of your youthful nature, but remember, my precious students, that you must temper those desires with discipline. Of course, Gai-sensei. Lee exclaimed and, somehow, pulled out a notepad. Gai-sensei's apprentice jotted down the words. Naruto grinned broadly as he headed to the next house. He double-checked the addresses on the letters and packages before knocking on the door. An older man opened and stared at Naruto for a heartbeat. Naruto tried desperately to keep his smile from fading. Can I help you? The man asked. Are you Fukui Shoichi-san? Naruto asked politely. The man nodded. I have a package and 3 letters for you, sir. Shoichi looked at Naruto cautiously. You didn't open them, did you? Of course not, sir, Naruto answered quickly. These are your packages. It'd be really rude of me to go digging through your mail. Fukui-san seemed placated by that answer and accepted the packages. Thank you, young man. Naruto waved and wished him a good day. He didn't frown until he had rejoined Hinata and Lee. Is everything alright, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. Naruto forced his frown away and grinned at his teammates. Yeah, just thinking of a few annoying things. It isn't anything to worry about, Naruto assured his friends. If you ever need to talk, we are here for you, Naruto. Lee loudly promised his teammate. Thanks, Lee, Naruto said genuinely. Guy had a frown on his face as he realized what had happened. The individual at the home Naruto had visited had harbored unfounded doubts about Naruto's character. Many in Konoha still doubted the fourth Hokage. Guy felt a twinge of shame in his gut, but managed to hide it from his students. Guy's concerns were washed away as he saw his team interact. Naruto had decided to better coordinate their actions. He worked out a system where Hinata would check the surrounding area with her Byakugan and pass the packages or letters to either Naruto or Lee. The boys would quickly deliver the packages and return to the team. Naruto's new system cut down on the time Team 9 spent on the mission. As always, Guy was keeping a close eye on how his team interacted and handled the mission. They were likely not aware that the true purpose of D-rank missions was to gauge how well a team worked together. A secondary purpose was to see how each individual responded to following orders that they were not thrilled with or did not fully support. My students are not hesitating to do their best. They may have not been originally thrilled by the mission, but they have taken to it with gusto. Guy observed. Team 9 quickly finished their mission and Might Guy led the young genin back to the Hokage's tower to report the completed mission. It was impossible for Naruto and Hinata to hide their excitement at seeing the Hokage. Good afternoon, Hokage-sama. Naruto shouted with unmatched exuberance. The elderly Hokage lit his pipe and smiled. Good afternoon, Naruto, Hinata, Lee, and Guy. I take it your mission was a success? Yes, Hokage-sama, Might Guy answered. Team 9 is here to report mission complete. Excellent. The Hokage said warmly. Please see Haruka-san for your pay vouchers. I look forward to congratulating Team 9 on many more successful missions. Team 9 all beamed and happily collected their pay vouchers. They were dismissed by the Chunin and followed Guy-sensei out of the Hokage's office. At the bottom of the stairs, Guy asked for his team's attention. Excellent work today, my students. The Jonin said warmly. We have had a very successful day. You three may have the rest of the day to train on your own and attend to your personal business. Thank you, Guy-sensei, all three genin responded at the same time. Guy-sensei, will we be meeting at the same time tomorrow? Naruto asked. The sublime green beast flashed a thumbs up and a dazzling smile. Of course, Naruto. Routine is important for your development. Naruto and Hinata bowed to their teacher. Might Guy flashed another smile and motioned for Lee to follow him to their apprenticeship training. The two roommates exchanged excited grins. We've got our rent money for the rest of the year. Naruto gushed. Hinata nodded excitedly. I hope we get a few more missions. It would be great to not worry about our finances. Do you want to go to the bank first, or home? Naruto asked. Home, Hinata answered immediately and brushed her left sleeve. I really want to take a shower. Alright, Naruto answered. That sounds like a good idea. I wonder how our friend's day at the academy went. We haven't seen Tenten-senpai since the True Genin test. Hinata wondered out loud. Tenten glanced up and watched the other academy students filter out of the grounds. She sighed as she returned her attention to her notes. The nature of Ibiki's genin test was resounding in her head. Intelligence was life. Tenten had begun observing and taking notes on every student in the classes. Currently, her notes were very basic. Tenten had 2 folders. The first was students who had failed their Jonin sensei's test, and the other contained information on the students who were about to take their academy Genin test for the first time. Unfortunately, her information wasn't very complete. I have a few months, Tenten thought to herself as she wrote down a bit of information on Soda Rakudo. It had really shocked Tenten to overhear Rakudo talking about how Naruto was the reason he was still in the academy. The budding kunoichi made a note to find Naruto and Hinata to ask them about that. Truthfully, she also wanted visit with them. The two were genuinely nice. Their situation was unusual, and Tenten suspected there was a lot of other issues behind everything. She also doubted that anyone would come out and admit the causes of Hinata and Naruto practically being outcasts. The inquisitive kunoichi grumbled as she finished writing down the latest information on her classmates and closing her files. As she sealed her intelligence reports into a storage scroll, she noticed her graduating class's valedictorian approaching. Hyuga Niji was wearing his traditional scowl in addition to his simple Hyuga robes and a white silk band around his forehead. "Can I help you?" Tenten asked neutrally as Niji came to a stop on the other side of the table. "I want you to cease your spying on me," Niji said without preamble. Tenten crossed her arms and returned Niji's harsh gaze. "I'm not spying. I'm observing, there's a difference, Niji-san." The challenge in Tenten's voice was not lost on Niji, but it was certainly unexpected. "Your observations are almost universally considered spying by your peers. I am concerned that you might discover secrets that would make my position on any future team difficult." Tenten desperately fought the urge to quirk an eyebrow. She failed and instead allowed her eyes to narrow. "It's actually the opposite, Niji-san. I'm doing this to make my position on a future team easier. You know the purpose of the real Genin test. Ibiki-sensei taught me that intelligence and information is life. I am not going into that test blind again." "Admirable," Niji admitted, but Tenten wasn't convinced of the Hyuga's sincerity. "But I will not permit your observations." "Well, since you asked so nicely," Tenten started and added just the right amount of biting sarcasm. "I'll stop my observations of you." Niji didn't miss the sarcasm and his pale white eyes narrowed. His eyes shifted from infuriated to their normal, mildly annoyed at the entire world, and Niji nodded. "I am glad we could come to an understanding." Tenten returned the nod, but rolled her eyes after Niji turned on his heels and left without saying another word. She decided it was time to go herself and rose from her seat. "I promised Niji that I wouldn't observe him anymore, and I won't. I also never said anything about not investigating. He's hiding something big. I definitely need to talk with Hinata now. She used to be Hyuga." Tenten made it to the gates of the academy before stopping and groaning. She had no idea where to find Hinata and Naruto. There was also the chance they could still be working with their Jonin sensei. "How the heck am I going to find them?" "I'm glad you're taking my lesson to heart," a voice Tenten instantly recognized said with dark amusement. Tenten jumped at the voice even as she realized it was Ibiki. She was embarrassed that she was so easily startled, but proud that she landed in a solid taijutsu stance with a hand on a weapon scroll. "Ibiki-sensei?" The feared Tokubetsu Jonin smirked approvingly at Tenten's reaction. "I'm not your sensei anymore, girl. You taught me a great deal in the real Genin test," Tenten countered. What are you doing here?" "I am going on a vital mission for Konoha soon. The academy is in the same building as the Hokage's offices. Your activities have been entertaining." Ibiki rolled his shoulders as he spoke. "Oh," Tenten squeaked. Ibiki was every bit as intimidating as he had been during the test. "I need some help." "Keep in mind that everything has a price," Ibiki pointed out. Tenten nodded. "Okay. Do you know where Uzumaki Naruto and Hinata live?" Ibiki brow furrowed at the question. "I do. Before I name my price and give my answer, I need to know what you are going to use this information for." "I need to get Hinata's help in getting some of my information straight, and I want to visit my friends," Tenten admitted. "She wants to confirm some information on the Hyuga clan," Ibiki deduced. "I will give you the address, but in exchange you will have to swear to pass your next Genin test and strive to become a Chunin as quickly as possible." I was going to do that anyway, Tenten grumbled. Ibiki's chuckled and the sound really creeped the young woman out. Ibiki pulled a small notepad out of his pocket and wrote down an address. Memorize this. I cannot allow you to write it down. Tenten memorized the address and turned her attention back to the veteran Jonin. Why are you helping me out? You said it yourself. You aren't my sensei anymore. Let's just say, I believe you have potential and you'll help me prove a point in the future, Ibiki revealed before walking off. Tenten let out a breath she hadn't realized she had been holding. She quickly pushed the nerve-wracking encounter out of her mind and rushed to the address she had memorized. Naruto and Hinata were sitting at the kitchen table and staring at their pay vouchers. So, what are we supposed to do with these? Naruto asked tentatively. I think we need to deposit them, but I don't think we have a bank account, Hinata answered in an equally tentative voice. Actually, I think we do, Naruto pointed out. That stipend we get has to go somewhere. We should probably go find Iruka-sensei. Hinata chewed her lip and nodded. Iruka-sensei would definitely be the one to know. He's probably the only person who'd help us reliably, too. Yeah. Naruto exclaimed. He's probably the only person I trust as much as I trust you. Hinata blushed and shyly mumbled, thank you. The two friends got out of their seats and Naruto extended his hand with a smile. Hinata looked at the hand and blushed furiously before taking it carefully. Naruto laughed as he led Hinata to the door. I can't wait to tell Iruka-sensei about our mission. Maybe we can stop by Ichiraku and let Tsuchiyaji-san and Ayamon-chan know too. I am sure they would like that, Hinata agreed. Her mind was marveling about how natural her actions with Naruto felt. There was a knock at the door and any further thought was interrupted. Naruto cocked his head to the side. Hello? Who's there? Hello, Naruto-san. It's Tenten, Tenten answered on the other side of the door. Naruto and Hinata exchanged a quick glance and a smile. Hey, Tenten-senpai. Naruto said warmly as he opened the door. Good evening, Tenten-senpai, Hinata said politely. Tenten flushed with a little embarrassment as she saw that Naruto and Hinata were holding hands. Sorry, but I just wanted to stop by and say hello. We hadn't seen each other in a while. We were actually thinking about trying to find you today, Naruto admitted. Hinata-chan and I were about to go to the bank. Want to come along? Oh, no thanks. I just wanted to say hey, Tenten admitted quickly. She noticed that Hinata and Naruto hadn't let go of each other's hands. I'm sure you two have a lot to do, but Hinata-san, may I ask you a quick question? Of course, Tenten-senpai, Hinata answered. The Hyuga clan has two houses, right? Tenten asked. Hinata nodded nervously. The older girl also noticed that Naruto gave Hinata's hand a bit of a squeeze. Wow, they really are all lovey-dovey, Tenten thought with a smile. Are there any techniques that are restricted to one house only? Hinata nodded. Why, you are correct, Tenten-senpai. I would be careful about mentioning that to many people. The Hyuga are very secretive. I know, but I just had to confirm something. I've been researching potential teammates, and something Niji said earlier today got me thinking. Thanks for confirming a theory. We'll have to catch up sometime. Enjoy your date. D-date? Naruto and Hinata stammered at the same time. Tenten waved and left with a mischievous grin on her face. We should probably find Iruka-sensei, Naruto said after a moment. Hinata nodded and the two headed out to find Iruka. They were still holding each other's hands. Iruka was nervous when Tucci had returned after his earlier visit. He was doubly nervous when Ayam walked in as well. Tucci said he wanted to cook Iruka a meal that wasn't ramen to thank him for paying for Ayam's tuition. Iruka was worried that he had planted a seed of worry in his future father-in-law after their conversation on B and A-ranked missions. The teacher truly hoped Ayam wouldn't pick up on any of her father's worries. Luckily, the get-together was going wonderful. Iruka was infinitely grateful that the only emotion Ayam was reading from her father was approval at her relationship with Iruka. Tucci was singing a folk song off-key in the kitchen while Irika and Ayam were engaged in a quiet conversation about anything that came to mind. Naturally, the conversation turned to the amusing encounter with Naruto and Hinata. So, Hinata thought she had to marry Naruto too? Irika asked, between chuckles. She did. Ayam rested her head on Irika's shoulder as she tried to get her own laughter under control. The cutest thing was that she didn't object to marrying Naruto-kun. It was almost as if she was asking for my approval. Well, we are practically family for those two, Irika admitted, and Ayam nodded in agreement. Naruto was pretty much the same. Though, Naruto was probably more energetic than Hinata. Oh, I don't doubt that, Ayam agreed. He's practically on a permanent sugar rush. Irika looked at the door in annoyance as a very enthusiastic knock echoed through his home. His annoyance evaporated as he heard a key turning and a loud, "Hey, Irika-sensei. Hinata-chan and I are coming in." "We're in the living room," Irika shouted. Ayam and Irika blinked a few times as they realized Naruto and Hinata were holding hands. The two adults started laughing mirthfully. Naruto was complaining about Irika and Ayam laughing and making Hinata uncomfortable. Hinata, for her part, simply blushed. "Oh, we so have to give them the talk," Ayam whispered. "I was planning on doing that tonight anyway," Irika agreed with a smile. "Good evening, Naruto and Hinata. What brings you to my house?" Hinata managed to get her blush under control and quickly found her voice. "Irika-sensei, we need your help with our pay vouchers." "You completed a mission today?" Ayam asked. "Hey, I am Wani-chan," Naruto said warmly. "We were totally awesome on our mission." "That's great, Naruto-kun. I'm proud of you as well, Hinata-chan." Ayam beamed. The two young people smiled broadly as they took a seat. Irika cleared his throat. "So, what do you need help with?" "Irika-sensei," Hinata said politely. "We aren't sure if we have a bank account to deposit our pay vouchers." "Ah." Irika breathed in understanding. "I know Naruto has an account. His stipend has to go somewhere, after all." Naruto leaned in close and whispered, "I told you so," in Hinata's ear. Hinata giggled at Naruto's playful tone. Ayam, for her part, leaned in and whispered how the two genin definitely needed the talk. "When do you finish with your Jonin-sensei?" Ayam asked. "I believe we are going to train all day tomorrow," Hinata revealed. "It will likely be later in the afternoon. When you get done, come by the stand and I'll help you set it up," Ayam offered. "I would appreciate the help, Ayam Wani-chan," Hinata finished her thanks with a bow. Ayam turned back to Irika and winked. "You know, Hinata-cha, I think we need to have a bit of girl talk." "That's a good idea, Ayam-chan," Irika agreed theatrically. "I think Naruto and I should take time to catch up too." Suddenly, Naruto was nearly overwhelmed by a sense of foreboding. Irika-sensei, we're going to have that chat you mentioned earlier, aren't we?" Irika chuckled and ran his index finger across his scar. "Naruto, we're just going to have a talk." Naruto and Hinata exchanged a nervous glance. Tucci's guffaws weren't helping the young roommates' nerves. Ayam and Irika split the pair up and led them into separate rooms. "I'll make it up to them by starting a pot of ramen. I have a bit of beef left over," Tucci promised as he shook his head. After quite a while, Irika and Ayam emerged from the rooms alone. They went straight to the kitchen table and sat down. "That went well," Ayam said proudly. Irika nodded in agreement. "I thought they handled everything with maturity," the teacher observed. They watched Naruto and Hinata emerge. Occasionally, the two would exchange a shy glance in each other's direction. They would promptly blush a brilliant crimson and look away. "Naruto and Hinata. I made some beef ramen," Tucci announced. Hinata and Naruto brightened instantly at the mention of their favorite food. "Is it alright for us to stay?" Hinata asked nervously. "We wouldn't want to impose." "Hinata, I consider you family." "You too, Naruto," Irika said in a gentle tone. "The two of you are always welcome in my home." "Thank you, Irika-sensei," Naruto said brightly. Fortunately for Naruto and Hinata, the conversation never turned to the awkward topic covered earlier. Naruto regaled his hosts with a recount of the mission. He went out of his way to put significant emphasis on Lee and Hinata's contributions. Hinata stepped in to compliment Naruto on his strategy to be more efficient on the mission. The adults were glad to see that some of the earlier awkwardness began to melt away. After profusely thanking their adult mentors and friends for dinner, Naruto and Hinata left for their apartment. Everyone knew Gai-sensei would work them very hard. A few moments after the two genin left, I am snorted. Hinata-chan asked a question I wasn't prepared for, I am said, and let the statement hang in the air. I hope it wasn't too awkward, Irika said and allowed his natural protectiveness to bleed through. She asked if sex was why the Hyuga forbid eating onions, I am reported. The Hyuga don't eat onions? Irika asked. Tucci took a sip of his drink. Onions are one of the 5 pungent spices. Some philosophies state that if you eat cooked onions, garlic, leeks, scallions, and chives that you will increase your sexual desire beyond acceptable levels. I did not know that, Irika said. That's certainly a question I wouldn't expect. How did Naruto handle the talk? Tucci asked. Irika smiled a lopsided grin. I think it is the first time I've ever managed to keep Naruto quiet. Naruto and Hinata woke up and prepared for the day as they always did. However, they had a bit of trouble making eye contact with each other. Eventually, Naruto got fed up. He definitely didn't like acting so awkward around Hinata. This is Hinata-chan. We can share anything. She's my best friend, partner, and if I can't be open with her, I can't be open with anyone. Hey, Hinata-chan, Naruto spoke up suddenly. He steeled himself and looked into Hinata's eyes. I know Irika-sensei and Ayamone-chan talked about some stuff last night. All of it had to do with sleeping together and was a bit embarrassing. Hinata nodded, but didn't speak. Naruto was determined to fight off the awkward silence. You're my best friend and partner. I know that you're a girl, and that you are pretty. If that comes up, we can deal with it, but I don't want to stop talking with my best friend. Oh okay, Naruto-kun. It was just a shock last night, Hinata admitted with a blush. We've been through so much together, we can face everything together, like we always do. Naruto beamed. Thanks, Hinata-chan. Naruto-kun, Hinata spoke up. Naruto hummed as he looked up and noticed that Hinata was blushing a bit and pressing her fingers together. Do you really think I'm pretty? Of course, Hinata-chan. I mean what I say. Naruto thumped his chest. Are you ready to go? I just know Gai-sensei is going to teach us something awesome today. Hinata nodded and the roommates left to go meet up with their team. Dai and Lee greeted the pair with the same genuine enthusiasm, warmth, and energy as they always did. The sublime green beast had each student continue on their previous exercises for a short time. Eventually, he called Team 9 away from their assigned exercises. My students. Today, I am going to teach you a vital shinobi skill and chakra control exercise. Hinata and Naruto, this skill will help with your ninjutsu and Hinata's juken. Lee, do not be discouraged. This skill does not require you to mold chakra, merely to control the amount of chakra you push to your feet. Gai finished by flashing his famous, nice guy pose. Lee hooped and returned Gai-sensei's nice guy pose. This is excellent news, Gai-sensei. What do we have to do in this most youthful and valuable exercise? Well, Lee. This is called tree walking. Observe. Mike Gai said with enthusiasm as he approached one of the walls of the dojo. He simply continued to walk and strolled up the wall. Gai paused near the ceiling. You can use tree walking on any surface to climb using your chakra. The trick is to find the right amount of chakra to stick to the walls. Too little and you'll slide off. Too much and you'll rocket away. That is so cool. Naruto shouted. He turned to Hinata and grinned. Hinata returned the grin and giggled at Naruto's boundless energy. Might Guy made his way back to the floor. I want you all to be very careful when attempting this exercise. If you feel like you are falling, don't fight it. Simply try to control your fall. Your safety is paramount. Do you understand, my students? Team 9 nodded. Guy smiled and handed out markers to each of the genin. This wall was designed for practicing this skill. I want you to mark how far up the wall you make it. Your goal is to reach the white line near the ceiling. The Jonin gave the signal to start and Team 9 began the training with gusto. Naruto and Lee struggled with the exercise and made it up the wall almost purely on momentum. Hinata had incredible innate chakra control and began to grasp the exercise quickly. Excellent work, Hinata. The Leaf's noble gentleman praised his kunoichi student. Hinata smiled broadly at the praise. After nearly 2 hours, Guy called a halt to the training. This is not an exercise I expected any of you to complete in a single day. Lee and Naruto let out a relieved breath, even though they were both panting from exhaustion. Naruto and Lee both had incredible physical endurance, but this chakra control exercise was more than a simple physical exercise. Guy was pleased to see that they both had reached about 5 feet up the wall. Hinata had made it around 7 feet. My students will reach the goal of 15 feet in a few days. I am very proud of their progress. I am proud of your progress. We will continue this exercise, and I know you will succeed and become even greater geniuses of hard work. Guy-sensei? Naruto asked while raising his hand, even though he was still lying on his back. Yes, Naruto? Guy answered. I've heard you say that we can become geniuses of hard work before. What does that mean? Guy entered his world-famous thinking pose. As you know, there are individuals who are called geniuses because they are born with great natural talent. They did not truly earn their title, even though they may eventually prove they deserve it. You all are talented, but sadly, very few have recognized your potential. So, I have decided to help you become geniuses of hard work. A genius of hard work is someone who becomes wise by knowing themselves. They overcome all the obstacles in their paths and achieve greatness that surpasses anyone born with the title of genius. Yash. Do you truly believe we can become geniuses of hard work, Guy-sensei? Lee asked as he sat up. Yes. More than that, Lee. I know that you 3 are already becoming geniuses of hard work. Thank you, Guy-sensei. Team 9 said as one. Guy was moved to tears by their unity and potential. You area dismissed for the day. Go. Go stoke the flames of your youth so that you may continue on your journeys to become true geniuses of hard work. The next week saw Team 9 training furiously on the tree walking exercise. Hinata quickly reached the white line and Guy-sensei allowed Hinata to move on to the next phase of the exercise. The goal of the exercise was to be able to not only reach the white line, but to walk back to the ground. Naruto and Lee managed to complete the first phase of the tree walking exercise around the same time. It took great effort, and the boys were rightfully proud of their accomplishments. Team 9 also performed several more D-rank missions. Iruka and Iam took the time to teach Naruto and Hinata how to deposit their pay vouchers and how to keep track of their accounts. A few days after Team 9's 4th D-rank mission, Naruto had finally completed the second phase. He approached Guy-sensei while watching Lee come very close to completing the exercise. Excuse me, Guy-sensei. How may I help direct the flames of your youth, Naruto? I'd just like to say that the tree walking exercise has helped with my seals. My chakra control has really gotten better. I've noticed that I can set the timer on the seals a lot better. Naruto explained happily. Guy's response was cut off by Lee's triumphant exclamation. Naruto and Guy turned to see Lee trying to explain high fives to Hinata. Naruto couldn't help but laugh at Hinata's confusion and Lee's blinding smile. Guy motioned for Naruto to follow him over to where Lee had finally shown Hinata how to give a proper high five. Congratulations, my students. Guy shouted proudly. You have achieved something to be very proud of. Thank you, Guy-sensei. Lee bowed deeply. Naruto and Hinata also thanked their teacher. You are all very welcome. Your success brings me great pride as your Jonin instructor. Tomorrow, we shall focus solely on D-rank missions. I want to reward you for your dedication to the path towards becoming geniuses of hard work. Team 9 felt excitement bubbling in their guts. They instantly knew Guy-sensei was going to reveal something else that would amaze them. After that, I shall introduce you all to advanced training. Team 9, Gifted Youths, you have earned the right to learn your first jutsu. This was all for now. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked it and that you will be back for more. Please like, share and subscribe. See ya.